YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Buddha, back in the building for another last Cloudia discussion video, and one that I wanted to bring up because I think we are all waiting in anticipation because of what was said during the 3-year anniversary live stream. Going over to YouTube and looking back, we can see during the announcements that they were making, we got this little roadmap that you can see next to me. And so far, everything has come to fruition, but now we are at the tail end of June, and you can see that there was scheduled to be guild content added. We are on the last week of June coming up, and we're still waiting, right? Since then, we've had the Persona 5 collab and then Balin dropping. No story added. They did say that there was going to be more story added here in anywhere between July and September, so that wasn't to be expected this month. However, some of us are wondering if we're going to be seeing guild content or if it is in fact delayed, as you can see by this little fine text right here. The content listed here is currently in development and subject to change, so it's quite possible that guild content may be pushed back. But I figured, why not talk about guild content, what I think could be added, cool things I think would keep people engaged, because right now, being part of a guild is just so you can log in and hope to get a rainbow potion or a radiance or grimoires off of the login bonus, which is fine, but we definitely need something to spice it up since it's been released for 2 months now. And we can't write off June yet because we still have next week, which will include a weekly update going from Wednesday to Thursday, which is the 29th to the 30th of June. So we may still see hope for guild content added within the month of June. We'll just have to wait and see for news and little teaser posts dropping early next week. Behind me, you can see the Buddha Gang official tavern filled up with our members. Very proud to have our 5 guilds staying strong. The majority of members still log in daily, so we have dedicated players who are interested in the guilds and whatever content is to come. Very excited. So wanted to talk about what I think could be possible with guild content being released and start a little discussion, see what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to post this on Reddit, see what we can find there. But what could they do, right, with guild content? I think the first thing that comes to mind is how are they going to integrate co-op battles to the guild? Because while a raid boss with 20 guild members attacking it all in once sounds really fun in theory, this game can barely handle multiplayer rooms of 4 players at the same time. So I don't expect them to come out with some very fun and headache-free 20v1 combat. I just don't think their servers are built to handle something quite like that if they haven't figured out the current multiplayer system. But what I do think would be really cool, and you guys can give me your take on this, what if they did some kind of 4-man team wave by wave content where each wave was a different group of 4 members of the guild, and it could go up to 5 ways, constituting 420 members in total. Now obviously you're going to have guilds that vary in member size, so not every guild is going to have 20 members, so there'd have to be some way to incorporate guilds without all 20 members. However, I think that would be a really cool structure that also can be implemented in the style that we have seen with Last Cloudia, because we can come up with all these theories, but we also have to think practically what can Last Cloudia actually do for co-op style battles in guilds. With some kind of cooperative play, quest style like that, we can then talk about guild rewards. I could see this being done multiple ways and non-exclusive. Hopefully they implement multiple features involving guilds. I think that would just keep the game very fresh, keep guild content very fresh. The first thing that comes to mind are missions, right, that you try and fulfill, similar to daily missions. So maybe there's just a guild mission list, so the more quests that your guild mates clear overall give you a certain reward after a certain amount. Maybe there's some kind of friend point system or guild point system where you can actually send guild points to your guild mates, and once you accumulate enough of those, you get a certain reward. I could see arena being incorporated into guilds. If you get a certain amount of trophies as a guild, you complete a certain mission reward. Cooperative missions like that outside of guild-specific content, I think, could keep a very, very healthy balance of focusing on guild content, but also motivating players within guilds to continue grinding the actual game, story, arena, etc., things like that. Talking about things like guild points, of course, I'm hoping there's going to be some form of guild trading space or guild shop in the permanent tab. So, you know, we have our Crimson Ore, we have our arena points, we have our friend points. Be very easy to slot in guild points and add a very nice list of rewards. One I'm hoping to God includes UR Stardusts. The only way we can currently get that without summoning duplicate arcs is by buying the Prayer Stardust in the Crimson Ore shop for 10,000 Crimson Ore. This is very hard to come by, but it's the only, I'd say, true free-to-play way to accumulate UR Stardusts, which, as we know, level 10 arc skills are amongst the most valuable things in this game. It makes sense why they gate it so hard for a lot of pay-to-play players, because it is so valuable. However, we've come to a point where URs are coming out more frequently. There's so many of them in the game that it's just so unrealistic, the current structure, to get most of them to arc skill level 10. We need a new source of income for the majority of players to acquire these UR Stardust, and I think guild content's the perfect place to do it, and hopefully not tie it to a ranking top 10 system, because that is absolutely very toxic for the majority of the game to lock them behind those things. But not only that, you know, throw things like radiances, any kind of scarce material, mother souls, multiplayer materials, throw those in there just as another place to acquire these scarce resources, especially radiances. They're the first things that come to mind because we don't have a reliable and permanent source of grinding those. We're kind of subject to when they give them out as mission rewards, or if we get lucky in the guild login bonus and are able to get one. So I know a lot of veterans are starving for worldly radiances, since that's what's keeping them, thinking of Tweaks, from upgrading all of his units to 5-star enhancement. And then I mentioned it talking about the UR Stardust. However, there's got to be some form of guild rankings, whether you like it or not. Very interested to hear what you guys think, but I think it's always healthy, regardless of how frustrating it can be, to have a competitive format in any game. Obviously, Las Cloudia, it's going to favor the guilds that have a lot of whales, a lot of pay-to-play players, and veterans that have accumulated a lot of things on their accounts. But it still gives you something to strive for, and it adds a piece, it adds a layer of gameplay that I think we all inherently crave in whatever game we play, some kind of PvP. I think a good way to balance these things is to stop giving such crucial materials like UR Stardust, stop putting those as the top 10 ranking rewards, and start including more things like stamps, right? Certain bragging stamps, so you can show off that you are a top 10 ranker or a ranker in the guild ranking system, and these new profile borders that they've introduced with the Maze of Tartarus, I think would be a really cool way to implement guild ranking rewards. I mentioned this in multiple QOL videos that I've made within the last 2 years, and it is fun to just have a little unique standout image attached to your profile or attached to your account that shows, yeah, bro, I'm bragging. I'm one of the top players, like me or not. So get good or get lost. It's just when you start attaching the UR Stardust or anything that's going to enhance the gameplay of top rankers more than the rest of the entire community that it starts to feel just scummy and bad for the majority of players. The same concept I talked about yesterday, the rich get richer and the poor stay poor, right? If supplying the players that already spend the most, play the most with the best materials to enhance their account the fastest, you're just increasing that gap of thinking that you can ever compete amongst the top rankers of the community, especially since the veterans who are also spending money have such an advantage that's damn near impossible to close if you were to start an account right now. And that's about all I have written down for this little guild discussion video. Again, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Very interested to see where y'all's heads are at. Do you think they're going to be able to release guild content before the month of June wraps up? And if so, what are you looking forward to seeing? Just a quick little video to get out there while we wait in anticipation for more things to do with our guild mates. And I'm excited, obviously, because I set up a whole guild structure in the Buddha Gang Discord so we can communicate together. It's very quiet right now, but with content like I mentioned, I think it could liven up that aspect of the community and would just be healthy for the game overall. So that's all I got for you this time, guys. Like, subscribe, bell noties if you're new to the Buddha Gang and to Last Cloudia in general. Make sure to check out that beginner's guide so you can get caught up on where to start and have a good footing on your Last Cloudia account moving forward. With all that being said, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play hard. See you in the next video.